In a previous video, we discussed how to find the least common multiple of 2 or 3 numbers. In this video, we will show some shortcuts or advanced techniques for finding the least common multiple. Let's begin by finding the least common multiple of 9 and 12. Remember that in the past, our strategy was to list multiples of 9 and multiples of 12. Once both lists were created, we looked for numbers that were on both of the lists. A shortcut is to list multiples of only one of the numbers. Generally, it's going to be quicker to list multiples of the larger number. So in this case, let's list the multiples of 12. Each time you list a multiple of 12, ask yourself, is that number also a multiple of 9? If the number appears on the list of multiples of 12 and is also a multiple of 9, it will be a common multiple. And if we start with the smallest multiples of 12, that will guarantee that it will be the least common multiple. So let's explore how to do this. First, we begin listing the multiples of 12, starting with 12 times 1, which is 12. Each time you list a multiple, ask yourself if it's a multiple of the other number. Is 12 a multiple of 9? In other words, if you would have listed all the multiples of 9, would 12 be on that list? The answer is no. So we have to move on to the next multiple of 12, 12 times 2, which is 24. Is 24 a multiple of 9? No, it is not. So we continue. 12 times 3 is 36. Is 36 a multiple of 9? Is there a number you can multiply 9 by to get 36? The answer is yes. 4 times 9 is 36. This means that 36 is a multiple of both 9 and 12, so it is the least common multiple of 9 and 12. This method is quicker because it only requires you to make one list of multiples, and you know exactly when to stop. Each time you list a multiple, you ask yourself if it is the least common multiple. So we don't have to list the first 5 or 6 numbers like we had to in the past of each of the numbers. We can stop as soon as we found a least common multiple. Now, as you get really good at this, eventually you'll be able to do this in your head. You'll be able to simply list off multiples of 12 without even writing them down and do that right in your head. Start with 12. Is 12 a multiple of 9? No. 24 is the next multiple. Is that a multiple of 9? No, it's not. 36 would be the next multiple of 12, and it's also a multiple of 9. So right off the bat, just by doing that in your head, you'll be able to find the least common multiple of 2 numbers. Let's take one more example and find the least common multiple of 8 and 10. Again, we're going to list the multiples of just one of the numbers, and in general, it's going to be quicker to list the multiples of the bigger number. So let's go ahead and list the multiples of 10. Each time we list a multiple of 10, we will ask ourselves if it is also a multiple of 8. The first multiple of 10 is 10 times 1. 10 is not a multiple of 8. 10 times 2. 20 is not a multiple of 8. 10 times 3. 30 is not a multiple of 8. 10 times 4. 40 is a multiple of 8 because 8 times 5 is 40. There is an integer that we can multiply 8 by to get 40. So that means that 40 is the least common multiple of 10 and 8.